This is CBN Newswatch.
Thanks for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Mark Martin. Turkish President Recep Erdogan has threatened to crush Kurdish heads if Kurdish forces don't withdraw before Tuesday's ceasefire deadline. Turkey's foreign minister today accused Syrian Kurdish groups of 30 live fire violations since the ceasefire began 4 days ago, and Turkey simply retaliated. SDF forces say they have evacuated, but President Erdogan is keeping up his threats. Erdogan said not only does he want to ethnically cleanse Kurds and others along his southern border, but also recently said he wants Turkey to have the nuclear bombs. U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said today U.S. troops will stay near Syria's eastern oil fields during the U.S. pullout, which will take weeks.
We have troops in towns in northeast Syria that are located next to the oil fields. The troops in those towns are not in the present phase of withdrawal. The present phase of withdrawal from northeast Syria involves those troops up along the border, if you will, principally at the Kobani LZ at this point in time. So that, as I said yesterday, this withdrawal will take weeks, not days. Until that time, our forces will remain in the towns that are located near the oil fields. The purpose of those forces, working with the SDF, is to deny access to those oil fields by ISIS and others who may benefit from their revenues that could be earned.
CBN contributor Chuck Holton is inside Syria and says the situation on the ground has been rapidly changing.
Over the past week, I've been traveling in Syria with the Free Burma Rangers, a small NGO headed up by a former Special Forces captain, Dave Eubank. The situation here on the ground is changing so rapidly, it's difficult to keep up. So here's some of what we've seen over the past few days.
I'm Dave Eubank, Free Burma Rangers. This is our medic, Joseph, from Burma, and we're here to try to help casualties. Now that the Free Syrian Army and the Turks have launched a massive attack, displacing over 300,000 people, wounding hundreds of people, killing people, there's people trapped in that village of Sarikani right now. 5 ambulances tried to make a run to get the wounded out. They were all blown up. Medics were killed. And we're trying to find a way to get there.
Later that same night, some good news.
We're hearing a ton of celebratory gunfire all over the village of Tal Tamr as people celebrate the announcement of a ceasefire with Turkey. And it might be ironic that they're shooting their guns to celebrate a ceasefire, but suffice it to say, everybody's very happy that there's a possibility, at least, of the Turks laying down their arms for now and an end to the violence.
But the fighting continued even through the ceasefire. Kurdish forces are living in fear of air and drone strikes, and on one mission, we got to find out why.
So right behind me is a horrific sight. The Syrians that have come in here from Tal Tamr are digging bodies out of the rubble from this house that was struck by a bomb. They've so far recovered 4 bodies, and they're just about to pull one more out of the house right there. Obviously, everybody is very somber, very sad. There's a lot of people that are in tears, and I've seen people retching because of the smell over in the street. We're only less than a kilometer or so from the city of Sarikani, and they've been given 5 days to recover all of these bodies and the wounded out of there, but as yet nobody has been able to get into Sarikani proper. So if this is what they're finding on the outskirts, they're not too sure what it's going to look like once they get into the city.
Nearing sunset on Saturday, something amazing happened. A 40 ambulance convoy was allowed into Sarikania, including our armored vehicles.
What we're seeing here at the hospital in Sarikania is an absolute miracle. This group of Kurds has been trying to get into this town for 2 days, and it looked like it wasn't going to happen until the very last minute when this convoy of 40 ambulances was allowed to come in and take the wounded out. It's getting dark now, and now the hope is we can get out of here without anybody changing their mind.
37 wounded were evacuated to hospitals, and the mission was a huge success. But the next morning, we heard more wounded had come in and needed rescue.
So we just watched as a large convoy of American troops pulled out and headed out of town. Ironically enough, the Free Burma Rangers are headed back into the war zone to pick up another load of wounded. And that's the new reality in Syria for now. I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
And we are on the phone now with Chuck Holton, who is still inside Syria. Chuck, tell us more about what you've been seeing over the past couple of days since the ceasefire was announced. How are things looking today?
Mark, I am actually right in the middle of a rescue operation as we speak. There's a wounded SDF soldier. It's after dark, and he's crawling down the road somewhere. Okay, all right. He's crawling down the road somewhere, and we've been moving down the road into territory that's held by the Free Syrian Army. Right now, an hour ago, they shot at us with 3 machine guns, and we had to flee, and then now we're close. We're going right back.
Wow. So is anybody trying to reach out and help this wounded officer?
Well, that's us. I'm right now driving a. Okay, all right. We just found him. I'm driving an armored ambulance right now, and we're within sight of the Free Syrian Army forces. We just found the wounded soldier, and we're going to load him up in my ambulance as soon as I can get it turned around. But we're doing it with no lights because they were shooting at us when they saw us a little bit ago. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm backing it up. Don't get that other vehicle.
Okay. Well, stay safe. You know, definitely if you need to stop this call at any other time, let us know. But I wanted to ask you, you've been spending a lot of time with civilians and people directly affected. How are they doing? Tell us what some of them are saying to you, Chuck.
Well, they feel very betrayed and very sad about what's happened, but it's a real somber mood when you talk to the Kurds. And there's so many of them that have had to flee their homes now because of this supposed safe zone that Erdogan is trying to create here. And they're all going to places south, but those places don't have food or water or medicine or anything because all of that came from Turkey. And Turkey shut up. I'm ready. Let's go. We just loaded the patient on the ambulance. Okay, let's go. I'm listening.
All right. Hey, Chuck, what's the next step here? What's going to happen when the ceasefire ends?
Hang on, we're getting people in the ambulance.
Okay.
We're loading all these troops into the ambulance and getting them out of here.
Are they all injured or just that one?
Say again?
Are they all injured, these troops, or just the one?
No, just the one, and the rest of the guys are guys that found him.
Okay. Well, we're going to let you get back to what you're doing, but real quick, what's the next step, Chuck?
These forces keep moving south, I think. Are we ready?
Yeah.
You want me to turn the light on right here?
Are you there still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you know what? We're going to let you get back to what you're doing and helping save those troops. So we appreciate it. Stay safe, and maybe we'll be talking with you later to get an update. Thanks again, Chuck. And that was our CBN contributor, Chuck Holton, actually inside Syria. Meanwhile, President Trump says Republicans need to stick together against presidential impeachment. Speaking at the start of a cabinet meeting today, the president said Democrats are only attempting to hurt Republicans in advance of next year's elections.
Any Democrat wants to because they're not going to beat me in the election. So, of course, they want to impeach. Why wouldn't they want to impeach me? It's so illegitimate. It cannot be the way the founders, our great founders, meant this to be. But I see this guy, Congressman Al Green, say we have to impeach him. Otherwise, he's going to win the election. What's that all about? But that's exactly what they're saying. We have to impeach him because otherwise he's going to win. I'm going to win the election. Look, I have the strongest economy ever. It's the economy, stupid.
The president's remarks came following reports in the mainstream media that some members of the GOP are ready to break against him over the impeachment issue. Gary Lane has been following this story, and he joins us now with more to help us sort through this. Are some Republicans actually ready to break from the president on impeachment? And if so, what would that mean for President Trump?
Mark, I think this is wishful thinking on the part of opponents of the president and Democrats. they're basing a lot of this over comments from Lindsey Graham, who has been a longtime friend of the president. And Lindsey Graham basically said, look, if there was something that rose to the level of criminality, then I may support impeachment. So I think they misunderstood exactly where Graham is on this. In addition, I think they're basing it as well on some other members of Congress. Francis Rooney, for example, he is a representative from Florida. He said that he would support impeachment as well. So basically, Mark, this is going to go, if they take a vote to impeach, this will go before the House in November. They said probably before Thanksgiving, and then it would go to the U.S. Senate. Well, the Republicans have majority in the U.S. Senate. You would have to have 20 Republicans join the Democrats, all the Democrats, 20 Republicans join them, 67 votes to kick the president out or remove him from office.
Well, Nancy Pelosi today, she released a fact sheet accusing the president of a shakedown, a pressure campaign of the Ukrainian president, and a cover-up. How is the Trump administration responding to that?
Well, as expected, the president says there was no quid pro quo. And his chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, also said over the weekend on a number of news shows, look, there was no quid pro quo here. The president didn't promise the Ukrainian president anything for his cooperation in an investigation or giving information on an investigation of the Bidens. And he didn't say he would take away anything. He wasn't going to remove aid because of that. So, again, what we've heard in the past.
Okay. And the president coming under fire for wanting to host the G7 summit at the Trump Doral facility in Miami. Yes. Did he talk about that as well?
Well, he told reporters today that, look, I would have saved the United States government a lot of money here because I would have done this for free. And it would have been a great facility. Each one of the G7 members would have had their own building and so forth, and the security would be good. So he said, look, I'm backing down from that. It's going to cost the U.S. government a lot of money.
Okay, well, what's expected to happen now this week? What should we look for?
Well, tonight, you may have as early as tonight a vote. Republicans are trying to push forward a vote in the House against Adam Schiff. He's the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. They say he was out of line in comments he made about the president. And then in addition to that, tomorrow, Bill Taylor, the acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, will be testifying in the impeachment inquiry.
Okay, thanks for staying on top of it, Gary. Appreciate it. Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren said she doesn't support taking away the tax-exempt status from faith-based groups based on their beliefs about gay marriage. Fellow candidate Beto O'Rourke made headlines for saying religious institutions should lose the exemption if they oppose same-sex marriage. At a campaign rally in Virginia Beach, Warren told CBN News she doesn't share that view.
We have a long tradition in our country of permitting churches to make their own decisions about how they worship. I respect that tradition, and I would not change it.
However, Warren emphasized she is a strong supporter of LGBTQ rights. And we're going to have more on these stories and others this evening on Faith Nation. You can watch it here on the CBN News Channel. In Dallas, search and rescue teams are looking for victims after at least one tornado passed through the region late Sunday night. This harrowing video shows the frightening scene as it unfolds. The storm touching down near Dallas Love Field Airport, causing widespread damage and leaving tens of thousands in the dark. A Home Depot store decimated. Residents have a long road to recovery.
Windows busted all over the house. The gas meter in the backyard is hissing. Our backyard fence, tree, patio cover, everything was just down, gone.
Officials say so far there are no reports of death or serious injuries. And coming up, Britain's Parliament and Prime Minister continue to clash on a Brexit timeline. The latest when we come back.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep. as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug of war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline, Friday night at 9:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Welcome back. Britain's Parliament has denied a push by Prime Minister Boris Johnson for a new vote today on his Brexit deal. Over the weekend, Johnson was forced by Parliament to ask for a 3-month extension to approve the deal, but Johnson decided not to sign the letter, saying that he opposes any delay and, quote, remains confident in his October 31st deadline. Brexit Secretary Stephen Barclay spoke to the European Union Committee today, pushing for a new vote.
I think the deal is a win, not just for the UK, but for the EU as well, who want to see the UK leave in a smooth and orderly way. And it was obviously frustrating, I think, for many of us on Saturday that we were not able to have the meaningful vote.
But Parliament Speaker John Bercow said it would be repetitive and disorderly to allow a new vote. The government still plans to introduce its key Brexit bill later today, with lawmakers holding a first round of debates and votes tomorrow. An influential European Parliament Brexit expert said the legislature might even meet next week if it would be necessary to push the outlined Brexit deal through.
We could ratify next week, if not this one. But then again, we should not be stupid. I mean, if a technical extension is needed for the ratification, that shouldn't be a problem. We have a track record of the British Parliament unable to agree on something, so we should not jump the guns and jump into ratifying something which might never be ratified on the other side of the channel.
Chick-fil-A just established their first outlet on UK soil, and it's already closing. This after the Christian fast food chain was targeted by pro-LGBT groups with complaints and boycotts. A week after opening, the city center mall, The Oracle, announced it will not be renewing Chick-fil-A's lease. In a statement, the company said, "We have decided on this occasion that the right thing to do is to only allow Chick-fil-A to trade with us for the initial 6-month pilot period and not to extend the lease any further. We seek to offer an inclusive space where everyone is welcome." You can read more on this story on CBNnews.com. Government officials in Algeria have closed down the country's largest Christian churches. Morning Star News reports the 700-member Church of the Full Gospel was told by government officials that it would be shut down. As the congregants gathered for prayer and worship, National Guard officers stormed the building. The church's pastor told Morning Star News that it's been 23 years that we exist in plain view. Why wait until today to do so? May everyone know that we have been beaten and abused, including our sisters too, and our own premises for one reason only, our Christian faith. And because that's the cause of our pain, we're proud of it. Wow, gives you chills. Great faith there. Well, coming up, Israel has been celebrating a biblical feast in recent days, the Feast of Tabernacles. Today marks the final day of that event. We're going to hear why some call it a fulfillment of prophecy. That's coming up. And before we go to break, here's a look at what's trending on CBNnews.com.
October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
And ministering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to CBNNewsChannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News. Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Israel is wrapping up its celebration today of the Feast of Sukkot, otherwise known as the Feast of Tabernacles. Thousands of Christians from around the world traveled to Jerusalem to see prophecy fulfilled and attend the celebration of this biblical feast. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us that story from Jerusalem.
It's a gala event with deep spiritual significance.
Have to come. Gentile Christians should come to Jerusalem at the Feast of Sukkot.
This is the 40th Feast of Tabernacles celebration of the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem. Some 5,000 Christians from 100 nations have come up to Jerusalem this year to stand with Israel and celebrate the biblical feast.
A lot of people from all these little Pacific islands, the Cook Islands and Samoa and Fiji and all, large groups that are flying for like 18 hours to get here. We had a special delegation this year from Egypt at the Feast of Tabernacles in Jerusalem.
ICEJ spokesman David Parsons said the work of the ICEJ goes beyond the feast.
From the founding of the Christian Embassy 40 years ago, we became involved in Aliyah work, helping gather the Jewish people back here to the land of Israel. And as of now, as of today, we have helped 150,000 Jews to make Aliyah, to help them make the journey home to the land of Israel.
This young doctor and his family from the Ukraine are the 150,000th new immigrant helped by the ICEJ.
And I'm really thankful so much for everyone who helped for us.
So why do the Christians come to the feast?
Because I love God and because I love Israel. And the Feast of Tabernacles has a meaning not only about Israel but also about the nations.
I'm so blessed to step on the soil. I've been praying for Israel.
As part of the feast, the pilgrims join a festive parade in the streets of Jerusalem.
The Bible says that we should love Israel because this is where salvation comes from.
Our heart is for you because our heart is for God, and we want to see Israel, all of Israel, blessed.
The Bible says, comfort my people, comfort my people. It's why I'm here, comfort my people.
And we believe that more and more Christians are going to come to understand that they need to support Israel and not believe the lies. And so it says, you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. We believe our land is being blessed today because we're blessing Israel.
One Israeli said the Christian support is like a big hug.
Every year we come with our kids and we stand here for hours seeing everyone parade down.
It's beautiful, it's colorful, it's happy. Everyone are singing Israeli songs about Jerusalem.
I think it's very exciting to know that there are so many people that love us and are excited to be here in Israel, just as I'm excited to be here. And this is a fantastic way to show the partnership between us and the rest of the world.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Watch Studio 5, Wednesday night at 9:30.
Remember for a moment what it was like to be a child. You believed every story you were told. You saw a world full of endless possibilities. What stories will the world's orphaned and at-risk children believe? We believe the Bible tells the only story truly worth believing. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to dream, the chance to take challenges and turn them into possibilities, the chance to stand on the promises of God, to recognize their place in the greatest story ever told. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Theirs is a world of endless possibilities. They are looking for a story to believe. We will tell them that story. Will you join us?
Fixer Upper stars Chip and Joanna Gaines celebrated the 5th annual Silobration at the Magnolia Silos in Waco over the weekend. The family-friendly celebration features a free vendor fair, trucks, and daytime activities. They also had 2 after-hours concerts with Christian artists like Johnny Swim and Josh Garrels. Joanna posted on Instagram following the event, thanking everyone for their love and support and calling the night magical. Chip also posted to social media, tweeting an image of the large crowd and giving a shout out to the music artists for their powerful performances. He said the celebration wouldn't be the same without them. That's a lot of people there. That's going to do it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.